Dentek collectors, and we're going to collect 2 Dentek processor cores. So let's use our nav map here and see if we can find a sector with just Denteks. H12 looks like it would be a good one. Oh, and there's that mission update. Push M to get it. Dentek collectors are used to fulfill heavy-duty mining contracts, so it's just letting us know that they have more armor than the Orin collectors, and they might turn hostile. Looks like we're actually carrying an extra piece of scrap, so let's jettison that. If you push J, then A, that'll get rid of anything that's in your cargo hold. So we'll hit X to get our nearest enemy. It's at a range of 1.8 kilometers. So I'm going to flee behind the asteroid there. It's a nice demonstration of object occlusion. If a ship disappears behind an asteroid, you actually can no longer see it on the radar. So if the target goes away. Nope, it doesn't look like that one dropped the core. The effective range on most blasters, if you're going after a stationary target, is about 300 to 500 meters. A active target that is engaging you, usually 150 to 200 meters is your optimal range. Times less. Turn off 563. So you can see how these collectors are a little tougher. They have a little more armor, but they're still pretty easy. Oops, I need to get that silk steel. Yeah, it looks like this guy is coming up to say hello. I'm gonna kill you! There we go. Nothing we need, unfortunately. Closest one is out here. Go after this guy. Another useful button is I, and that zooms way in so you can take a close look at a target at a distance. It really gives you a greater depth of vision in your sector. Okay, actually looks like we have all we need, but I'm going to go ahead and pick up this third Dentek processor because we'll be using it in the next mission. Kind of off track by that Dentek collector that attacked us. Yeah, when you're first leveling up, really you want to stick with the collectors first of all. The Orin collectors are the easiest. Next up from that are the Canic collectors. The Canics don't have a processor core, however. The Dentek collectors, which we're fighting now, are a bit tougher, and then the Artemis collectors are a little more tricky than Denteks. But all of the collectors are relatively easy, so this is a nice mission tree, because you can see we've made pretty good progress so far towards our second combat license, and we haven't had to pick up these cores. So let's see, we gained 500 combat skill and 350 light weapons, 5,000 credits received. Okay, then we go back to our mission board. More Dentek processors needed. And this is going to pay a little extra. We need to get 10 Dentek processor cores. So we'll go back to this sector here, H12. Now, one thing that's different about this mission is you get an AI wingman who you can call by clicking this button, and he'll actually warp into the sector with you and help you out by killing some bots. So this makes it go a little more quickly, and it's kind of fun following him around and seeing if he survives. If you can get him to survive for 5 minutes, he'll eventually leave the sector, but if not, you get a small faction hit. I think you lose 3 faction points if your wingman dies, which at this stage really is not that important. But if you have maximum faction, then I wouldn't recommend using the wingman if you have Pillar of Society, because as you get towards having positive 1,000 faction points get harder and harder to gain. Okay, looks like that guy had it. And here is our wingman. I'm not quite used to this key setup. I'm more used to the gamepad, so forgive me if I push a few random buttons. Take these guys out. I also realize that the combat may be a little disorienting, a little jerky. That's because I'm having to reach over and push the record button every 30 seconds. So forgive me for the skips in combat. Okay, we're doing well. Got 5 already. As ships lose health, you'll notice they start to smoke and flames start coming out of them. That's one way you can get a quick estimate of how a ship is doing, is whether or not it's smoking. The ships begin to smoke at around 30% health. Now you'll notice I'm doing a lot of rolling here. If you actually hold down the roll key and the strafe key together, it makes it really hard for bots to get you. This is known as the barrel roll maneuver, and it works pretty well against some of the lower level bots. But once you start into missions like Hive Skirmish, the barrel roll is not as effective. Explosion actually hurt me a little bit. It also makes it a little trickier to aim, but if you remember just to line up the crosshairs with the aiming circle. The yellow circle means you line up a hit. Doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to hit though, because bots do dodge. It looks like we've already got maximum cargo, so we're going to warp out here, and don't know if our wingman is going to make it or not. You can already see a few sparks coming out of his ship. Go, man, go! So we'll head back and drop drop off these cores. Our ship's about down to 56% health, so we probably should repair it at this point. So we'll do that as soon as we dock here. You don't automatically repair, you actually need to go to commerce and then click this button here, repair ship. So that'll get us back to 100% health. Okay, we need 2 more processor cores, so this won't take too long. Don't forget where you came from. 8. At the end of this tree, you get access to the old starting ship, the EC-88, which is identical to the EC-89. It's just a different model. It uses a different textures, different shape, which is kind of cool if you're an old school veteran. There's really nothing but a cosmetic advantage to having the EC-88, so we don't have to play through the whole tree. We're just here to get the bonuses. Okay. So I'm just gonna killing these guys until we find one more Dentek processor core. And there we go. All of the purple dots on the radar represent cargo widgets. Really the best way to target them is to just point your radar at them and push B. You can also use the bracket keys to select, to cycle through objects in the system, in the sector, excuse me. And that's another way you can get a look at what's laying out there. Storms. We don't have to worry about ion storms in the capital system because there aren't any, but once we venture out of the capital, ion storms are something you do have to be very wary of, especially if there's dangerous bots lurking in ion storms. But the first thing to do if you're ever caught in an ion storm is just check the sector list, push U, that gives you all the different bots and players that are in the current sector. And that's pretty useful for knowing whether or not you're about to get viciously attacked or not. Okay, so we got a pretty nice XP bonus here. Let's check our character, and you can see we've almost got Light Weapons 2 and Combat 2 with really not a whole lot of